this is Liam Day from the Top Class Teacher System, back with another in my video series, the TEFL Tech Toolbox. Today's tool is something that I have used extensively both in class and for students' homework, and I think it's a wonderful resource that you would be a fool not to take advantage of. It's a website called EnglisherEreader.net. Now, some of you may be familiar with Cambridge graded readers. The problem with Cambridge graded readers is that they're quite expensive, and often they're very difficult to get hold of if you are in a country where they don't have a lot of access to English books. This is the Cambridge graded readers or something similar, but online. And I'm going to show you a few things that you can do with this website and show you how I've used it in class with a couple of sample worksheets for you as well. So, firstly, when you come onto this website, the first thing you want to do is go to library. Now, one of the things that I've noticed about some students, particularly those who like to read, is that they will come to the UK and they will go into a bookshop and they will buy the first interesting looking book that they see. And that would actually be a C2 unabridged version of the book. Basically, it's been unedited. It is exactly how it was originally released. Now, of course, this is far, far too difficult for most students. The grammar and vocabulary is just too difficult. They read 3 or 4 pages, they translate every word, there are notes all over it, and then they give up. What EnglisherEreader.net allows you to do is it allows you to give books to the students that are at their level. Okay? Now, one thing that I would recommend, if the student is reading for pleasure, then I would recommend telling them to read one level below where they are. So if your student is a B1 student, then I would recommend saying to them, if you're reading this at home, read A2 level. Okay, that's simply because it's going to be easier and more relaxing. They are still improving their reading skills, but to do it at their own level potentially could get quite frustrating. However, if you're using it in class, then of course stick with the level that you're teaching. Okay, so most recently I was teaching an elementary class. So I'm going to click on elementary. And you can see that there are a number of different books here. Now, the one that I'm going to show you is a version of Pirates of the Caribbean. Now, what I like to do is I like to combine this with something that there is a film version of that the students can watch. Okay, so they can read it, they can do activities, and then they can watch it. And that way you're ticking all the boxes, because not everybody likes to read, but I think everybody likes to watch movies. Okay, so this is the one I want, The Curse of the Black Pearl. Okay, now a few things to note about this. Firstly, you've got a synopsis here if you're not familiar with the book. Here is a great tool or a great feature of this website. If the students are reading at home, then you can tell them to translate these words before they start reading. One of the problems that students have is that they read, and every time they come to a word they don't know, they stop and they translate it, which makes for fractured, very unnatural reading. If they already have these words translated into their own language next to them, it will make their reading much quicker. Okay? The next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to download it. Now, I would recommend downloading the TXT file. Okay? Which means you can open it in Microsoft Word. Okay? Because, as I mentioned, graded readers are quite expensive. And what you're going to do with this is you're simply going to be able to print the book out for your students. Okay, so we're going to download that. And I can then open it as a text file. Another great thing about opening it as a text file, it's editable. So if you think there are some words in there that are unnecessary, you can change them out for more simple ones. You can play around with the grammar. If the students have been learning a particular type of grammar, you might want to edit part of the text so that there's an example of that grammar in there. Okay, but here you can see you've got your story. Okay, and this one I think was 15 chapters, if I remember rightly. Chapter 15, yeah. Okay. So what I would do is I would download chapter 1 and then give it to the students with a worksheet that I've created. And I'm going to attach the first worksheet from this series onto this video. Another thing that you can do if you don't want to focus on reading but you prefer to focus on listening is you can actually download the audio files. Okay, and you can have the students listen to a chapter and maybe fill in the gaps or answer questions. So it's useful for both reading and for listening. Now in my class, as I mentioned, I would have them read a chapter, complete a worksheet, and then we would watch that part of the film. Okay, and my students have found this to be difficult but not impossible, and also it's a nice change from just reading things in a textbook. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you found it useful. If you have, then please like and share it, and I will be back tomorrow with another video in the TEFL Tech Toolbox series.